Ah, the film nerds hour. I don't know
Yes,
where
we
that
are
came from.
back. Well,
You can go anywhere.
welcome back to Film Nerds Hour.
That's what I just did the intro. Now you're demeaning me in front of the fam. You people can't visually see what I'm doing. It involves one of my fingers. Welcome back to the middle of April. Our April reviews.
Yeah, and to which we're going in with Mothra.
Yay!
So
A guy in this one. I was not expecting.
Yeah, and just to clarify, not the rebirth of Mothra, not the first one from
not the 90s trilogies. We're talking about 1954.
No, 61.
Oh, so I was kind of close, but not at all. What you're saying.
Next decade.
Is it really? Oh, it's Rodan that's 54. Spoilers, damn it. Anyway.
But yeah, this was actually really interesting, and you got the Steelbook edition of Mothra, which I still have to get.
Yeah, stop giving me that look because I bought it first. Or is it because when I ordered it off Amazon, they accidentally sent me 2 copies, and I gave one to my older brother and not you?
That might be it, because I have a whole collection.
Might it be.
And I have Rodan.
Yeah.
To go with it.
Oh, it's fascinating. Yeah. Oh, right. You have the DVD of the movie that's like $1,000 now for the DVD.
And the English dubbed version, too.
Well, I have HBO Max, so suck all of the dicks. So.
But. No.
Sorry we're being so phallic. It's just, it's been a day. He farted. I still haven't gotten over it. It's really bad.
I can't help sulfur foods.
Yes, you can. Eat healthier. It's not an excuse. So, Mothra. Where can people watch it if they want to? Because we're going to spoil through these.
Let me pop that up. I do want to say, though, that the version you got on, because I've been collecting the Ultramans.
Yeah.
And
wow, you're collecting a show I told you about. It's fascinating.
Well, we should tell them, too, that this is by the same guy.
Yeah, the guy who
created
produced
Ultraman.
Godzilla.
Well, created his whole design.
Yeah.
And Rodan's and
Mothra and Ultraman and Ultra Q. He produced all those shows because he loves frickin' monsters and puppetry and
did it so well that it actually became a popular genre.
Yeah.
And that was pretty awesome. The fact that one man started a whole genre, and he didn't even start it with his own company.
Yeah. Well, Toho's like Japan's Universal.
Pretty much.
Like, if you could think of a Japanese movie that's famous, it was Toho.
So yeah, if you guys want to watch this anywhere right now, you can rent it for $2.99 on Vudu, YouTube for $3.99, Google Play Movies and TV for $3.99, and Amazon Prime for $3.99.
Yeah, we're not sure which of these platforms we're listing right now. Like, just has the dub available, or just has the sub available? Because I know that is an issue. Because you have a DVD of Rodan that's only the dub.
Yeah.
And on HBO Max, they only have the sub. So I don't know which places are doing what format.
To be honest, Rodan, even with the dub, is actually, it's well done.
Does the Godzilla Blu-ray 2-packs you have...
They have original.
Original?
And dubbed.
Oh, both. Oh, well, that's nice.
Yeah, I think... The only thing that I have gotten that doesn't have... Well, there's that shitty Godzilla's Revenge one, which is just the American cut-em-up.
I'm not a fan.
So, we could have very much done without that.
Yeah. But...
let's say, too, that...
The sub version's 10 minutes longer. So if you watch the dub, we might talk about things that you didn't see.
Yeah, which... I hope you guys didn't watch the dub. Do yourself a favor.
Yeah, we watched a few minutes of it, and we were like, ooh, this is...
Yeah, it was definitely worse.
We should have known that something was wrong when we watched the sub and the dubbing of the only English actors in that were not even dubbed over well.
Yeah.
But good movie.
Mothra is a great movie, and the Steelbook remaster that you can get off Amazon is absolutely amazing. It's actually the 4K because they remastered it basically. Well, so one thing to explain is it's not the Ultra HD 4K of nowadays movies. What they will do is they'll remaster like Arrow Video, the Criterion Collection, which also is releasing the original Godzilla uncut with the American version as well. They've already done that. So these movies in particular, what they'll do is they'll take these 80s or earlier movies and they will remaster them with a 2K to 4K resolution fix, and then format them for aspect ratio, which is pretty awesome.
This has been Noah nerding out over formatting for film.
Hey, I think it's important.
It is. It is.
Like Godzilla and Rodan, this is also directed by Ishiro Honda.
Yes, and we'll say we will be discussing Rodan next week.
Yeah. And to kind of give you guys a feel, if you really enjoyed Mothra and Godzilla King of the Monsters, the original version, or just simply Godzilla, if it's not the American cut version.
That's how I know it.
Which, if you really think about it, was only just to cater to American audiences by kissing their ass so they could go, oh, there's an American in here.
Yeah,
so
they literally inserted him, didn't they?
Yeah. Which, I mean, kind of expands upon the story. It's nice if you want to see what America was up to, but it really wasn't needed.
Yeah, I don't care about that. I want to see, like, how it was originally made and, like, the original. Because it was originally Godzilla, if you don't know, and I've probably talked about it before. Godzilla, he is a representation, a metaphor. Is metaphor thing? Yeah. He's supposed to represent America, specifically when we dropped the nuclear bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki at the end of World War II. And, you know, it kind of shows in that movie. So it seems weird for America to try and capitalize it. Like, it makes it seem like they didn't get the message.
They didn't. I mean, that's what Shin Godzilla is. There's a lot of political...
Yeah, well, Shin Godzilla is, like, environmental.
Yeah, but they also are making references to which ship went down during some time in history. It's a famous ship, and both governments from Japan and America tried to cover it up because of the radiation poisoning that all their crew suffered.
And it's like a real thing? Ooh,
yes.
Fun.
And they were capitalizing on that. Shin Godzilla goes very, very deep.
Governments are interesting, guys. That sounds a lot like Host.
Yeah, it's been a while since I have Host. I really wish I wouldn't have sold that at Pawn Shop. When I was younger, I went through movies like crazy because I didn't really understand.
Did you watch Host?
Yeah, I kind of got rid of my Godzillas too when I was younger because at the time. Yeah, I know. My younger self... You know, I had probably more movies that would have expanded my collection to about 1,000. If I would have just kept them.
I mean, I don't have anything that I sold as a collector that I regret selling. I lost, like, a Game Boy Color with a copy of Pokemon Yellow in it once.
I never got back my Sonic Adventure DX collection director's cut that I let my friend borrow. That was... I
mean, I can't really talk. I had a friend who stole my N64 and all my games, so...
I was pissed off because I'm like, nice guy. I think his mom accidentally got rid of it is what he told me when we got back in contact. And I was like, that was my favorite game.
A guy I was talking to was talking about a person who... He was his friend and is still his friend. And I'm going to tell you what happened, and you determine if that person would still be your friend. They borrowed his game Pokemon Snap.
Anything that involves Pokemon, you should not be borrowing, period.
From N64, Pokemon Snap. 6 months later, he asked, hey, do you still have my copy of Pokemon Snap? And then this is his friend's response. No, I sold it at a garage sale for $5. It gets better. All right, can I have $5 then? No. I'm sorry. Why? What? And I asked, I was like, are you still friends with this person? Yeah. That's not a good friend. They sold your shit.
They're not even
and didn't even feel bad about it. Like,
that's I don't care if people judge me. That's how you get a punch in the face.
Seriously, that wasn't your shit to sell. And even if it was, like,
Well,
you should have like paid the person back tenfold. Like,
I had
how's
some
your problem?
Star Wars figures too that I traded my friend for temporary for his Halo figures just because I was getting.
You wanted to play with Halo figures, sure.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, I can leave some of my stuff here, and I'm coming back anyway. I had a TIE Fighter, an X-Wing, a Cloud Car, all the good stuff from the Hasbro days before Disney decided to let's make it $12 and make them shit.
Yep.
Yeah, I lost all that.
What did their friend do?
I think they sold them. And I had over 50 Stormtroopers and over 100 Clone Troopers. Because I used a lot of my Christmas and birthday money to go to Toys R Us when it was still a thing, and they were all on sale.
Nice. The mistakes of our past. Can't change them.
But, hey.
That's life.
I have a lot of value in my collection now still.
Yeah.
That also being said, Ishiro Honda, if you guys do like the original Godzilla, which came out in 54, and Rodan was 56, sorry. 2 year. So what ended up happening is 54, original Gojira came out. Then Rodan came in 56. Also during that time, that is when America got their hands on it, released it in the original Gojira in the States, named it, dubbed it King of the Monsters. Hence why there's a nod to King of the Monsters being the 2019 American sequel version of the Monsterverse.
Yeah.
Which actually is a lot
nod.
better.
Yeah. I mean, story-wise, but we're not here for the story.
But I mean, I like how King of the Monsters, which I'm sure you guys have heard.
You listened to our review of it. What'd you think?
Yeah, which, I really liked that, it stayed faithful to its roots and included a lot of cultures, international cultures, especially the Japanese, in forming that story and making it more meaningful.
Oh, yeah.
So that was very good, unlike, Matthew Broderick, that
You're a great guy.
Zilla.
You're a great guy, but my God. I mean, he didn't have any part in writing that movie.
And he was just like, oh, Godzilla.
Oh, cool.
And that's the only reason I would watch it again.
Is because of him.
Yeah, and honestly, that movie pains me to watch because that doesn't even look like Godzilla. That literally just looks like a giant lizard. It's like, that's how America messes everything up.
The lizard went into a stadium and had eggs. And I'm like, ew.
See, I don't even remember the movie that well because I just made an effort. Even when I was younger, I was like, this is stupid.
I remembered it because when I was younger, I saw it and it was just like an action movie. So as a kid, I was like, this is cool. As an adult, I'm like, what was I thinking?
See, even as a kid, I just didn't like it because I'm like, that doesn't look like Godzilla.
See, I didn't have much familiarity with Godzilla at the time. I watched that, and that might have been my first introduction to the character, actually. And then I was like, there's more Godzilla movies? He looks different.
See, when I moved to Illinois with my dad on On Demand, when that was a thing, with Comcast, that's how I actually discovered, when we were living with my grandpa, the rebirth of Mothra movies.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I ended up enjoying that a lot. And that was a very hard time for me, and those movies brought me a lot of peace.
And I bought you the Blu-ray trilogy of them. You're welcome, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I did not have Prime, so I had to pay back for those.
No worries. So Mothra.
Which...
Every time those girls sing in this show... if you guys want a drinking game at home, every time the girls in Mothra sing, take a shot.
Take a shot of vodka or whiskey. We'll guarantee you that you'll be stumbling around.
Oh, yeah.
And also do this in a safe environment if you're actually going to do that.
Please do. It takes a little bit for them to sing, but once they start singing, they do it a lot. And it's weird, because they're a foot tall, they're tiny, tiny people.
They're not even a foot.
Yeah, like when they pick them up, it's like holding, like, not like action figures, but bigger than action figures. And it's like one of those things where I'm like, this is a weird crush. Like, you're so pretty, but I know it would never work.
The power of beauty.
Seriously.
In the palm of my hand.
Seriously. Don't say it like that. That sounds... So Mothra.
I'm sorry, I was thinking of that Alfred Molina.
Had to. You're acting like there was a gun to your head. There wasn't.
I was thinking of Alfred Molina in Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
The power of the sun in the palm of my hand.
Well, Alfred Molina in Spider-Man 2 also thought some writer was as complex as nuclear physics. I can't remember what writer, but it's one of my favorite bits. Anyways.
I did want to say though, about Mr. Honda that he did do Mothra, Rodan, the original Gojira, as well as King Kong versus Godzilla, Mothra versus Godzilla.
He did most of them.
Terror of Mechagodzilla, Destroy All Monsters Attack, Invasion of the Astro Monster, which I believe is King Ghidorah.
Yeah, it's all the he did the Heisei era movies, which are the first 15.
Yeah, which is Ghidorah still another? He's unnatural order, right?
He's from space. He's from space.
Okay.
He is a representation for the threat of China in the movies, but in the lore of the films, he's from space.
Okay.
Which I don't know. I think Mothra is supposed to represent nature.
I believe so, because looking at
what happens in the movie and them trying to mess with nature, and it's like, yeah, that makes sense to me.
I mean, the way I've seen it is also when I saw Mother, I kind of incorporated it with that. But it was
that I ain't walking near that movie. I don't want to question my whole belief system, so I'm good. I'm at the point in my life where I'm like, this is what I believe. I don't. Yeah.
I think it's one of those things that you just think of scientifically, but I believe Mothra is more of an ease to that by like 1,000%.
Yeah.
It's because Mothra is basically the mother.
Yeah, because they mess with the natural order by kidnapping the twins. So Mothra, he in this case, but later on she.
After he's reincarnated.
Yeah.
Would they ever describe how that happens?
I think because it's kind of touched on in King of Monsters, because Mothra dies in that one. And then in the end credits, they're like an egg washed up. So it's like, I think it goes from being an egg to its larval form, and then cocoons itself in what you described as a nutsack. Thank you, by the way.
Hey, I'm sorry, that's what it looked like.
To its moth form, and then when it dies, it like is dust, and then the egg is reformed. Yeah.
Okay. Because that's kind of what they did in King of the Monsters, and I feel like that's what they did in one of the original Toho ones too.
Yeah.
Which is hard to say because there's literally like 9 different timelines with that.
Mm-hmm. It's confusing, but once you get the hang of it, it's like, bleh. Yeah. So spoilers for Mothra.
Yeah.
But it starts out, because they kind of have to do, like, they have to give an explanation of why they're going to this island. So there's a typhoon, these guys shipwreck, and these 4 people are found. They're found by a dude in a helicopter who's our boy. You know him.
The dude from Ultra Q.
Yeah, his name is Shirija. If you look through the credits, he's the only person, I swear, he's the only person in credits who has his picture in color. Because he's still alive. And he's like an older fellow.
There's a couple of casts on there who I think are still alive who have their picture in color. But, let's see. Oh, no. Sorry, I was also looking at Frankie Saki, the bigger dude.
Yeah. He's great.
Comedian.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
Japanese comedian, but he died of liver failure.
Oh, that sucks.
In 1996.
While drinking.
I'm trying to find him. Is it Clark Nielsen?
No, let me see. Can I just see your phone for 3 seconds? Sorry, guys. I'm sure this is very interesting for the listening members of the podcast. I think
it's kind of hard to tell because they're...
Yeah, because look, he's cast as helicopter pilot. Because this is the only bit we see him in. Yes. Kenji Sahara. Yeah. He's in Ultra Q. He's the main character in Rodan. He's in Godzilla. It's a lot of these people are the same, like... Because we got Takashi Shimura, who's the news editor, he's in Godzilla. He's in, like, almost every Akira Kurosawa movies. This is more my wheelhouse than yours, but that's okay. And... Akiko Harada, he plays Dr. Serizawa in the original Godzilla. He's just a doctor character. And then Yoshifumi Tajima, he plays a military person. But it's like a lot of these guys, they're kind of just like, I think what you were saying before. They're kind of just cast because they're probably under contract. So it's like, put them in this for like 5 seconds.
Well, I'd say if it wasn't just for contract, I'd also say it was also probably because of the fact that. There probably wasn't a whole lot of actors in Japan. I mean,
yeah,
there's that too.
Yeah,
I mean, where America, Because America was the up and coming.
Yeah, and and our country's a lot. Correct me if I'm wrong. Our country's a lot bigger.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, and I hate saying it, but it is true that the reason that America has prevailed all over is not just because we live here, it is because it was a bigger country, and back in old Hollywood, it was the city of sin everywhere, specifically Hollywood, more so than Vegas.
Yeah, exactly.
Crime, people shooting each other, which, it's a dramatization, but it is real.
Streets were more paved with blood than gold.
I mean, look at Lucille Ball. She's not the Lucy that you would have seen on the show.
No. Also, I want to give a quick shout out to Yumi and Emi Ito, who are actually twins, who each play one of the twins.
Which I thought so, and I was hoping for that.
Yeah, that was cool. In King of the Monsters, we get one actress playing the same character twice, or different. She plays twins, both twins, and I was like, oh well, okay.
Which with Kong, we get that little girl.
Yeah, is she a twin? I don't think she's going to be a twin. We don't know yet. It hasn't come out.
Yeah, at the time of this, it hasn't come out yet.
Yeah, at the time of this coming out, it will have.
Oh, probably.
Yeah. We'll have done a bonus review of it, too.
Yeah. So, I don't know. My estimate now is probably not.
Yeah, probably not.
And I'm okay with that, because I like the idea of having a little kid connecting with Kong.
Yeah.
But she's from that kind of stuff from Japanese culture.
So, yeah, the helicopter pilot finds them. They get tested on. And when they're getting interviewed, we meet Zen. And, God, I can't remember her name, but she was important, too. The photographer.
Jeez, he's been in a lot. Sorry.
It's okay.
I know so many of these movies. He was in Final War, Space Godzilla, King. Yeah.
Told you. A lot of stuff, that dude. Good for him, right?
Yeah. Big part of their culture. Anyway, continue.
The guy from Ultra Q?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's awesome. No, so Zen, who he's a reporter, and they call him the snapping turtle, because once he gets a hold of a story, he never lets go. And that's a nice thing to write. You know what I mean? Like, it really, you know what I mean?
Expand his character.
Yeah, exactly. And because they test for radiation, because there were nuclear testings that were done on this island they landed on, Infin Island. And they said they didn't have any joint pain because the natives helped them. And they're like, natives? We thought it was uninhabited. So they launch an expedition. I can't remember the character's name, but I'm just going to call him Skeezy Prick. You know what I'm talking about?
The American?
Is he American? And he just speaks Japanese really well?
Let me look again.
He's the guy who we find out later the reason he's in control of everything in the expedition is because he financed the whole thing himself.
Which, let me double check in the cast.
The really skeezy guy who I hated.
Clark Nielsen, I think.
Yeah, I think it's probably Clark Nielsen.
Played by Jerry Ito? Yeah, he's an American film actor.
Yeah. So he finances this expedition with all these people. They don't allow reporters on, but Zen sneaks on board, and they just tell him. They just say that he's a security guard, so they give him a gun. And there's a funny scene when they're on the island in these hazmat suits where he's just kind of pointing the gun, and like you pointed out, he keeps accidentally pointing it at the guy's head, just to showcase that he really doesn't know what he's doing with the gun.
Yeah, which we were talking about an Ultra Q episode that involved a kid who was looking down the barrel of a gun.
God. What is it called? Like something Free My Turtle or Save the Turtle?
I'm trying to remember.
I mean, if you look up Ultra Q Turtle episode, it'll come up. But that episode messed with me. I mean, we love
Grow Up Little Turtle.
Grow Up Little Turtle. Oh my god. I love Ultra Q, and in honesty, that might be like one of my favorite episodes because it made me think the most. But it's like that. It really made me think. I was like, is the kid dead? Like, did he shoot himself? Like, and I understand the people listening who are asking why is Nate laughing when mentioning the idea of a child shooting himself in the face. It's a condition that my family has where when we're uncomfortable, we laugh. There's a reason if I'm in any situation where I'm arguing with someone, I'll just laugh. Because that's who I am. I just laugh for everything. You could attest to that.
Yeah, Sorry.
No, you're fine.
It turns out that I think what their implication was...
Oh, you read into the thing? Okay, do tell.
Yeah, the way they are describing the plot is that he just... It was about temptation.
Yeah. Because he wanted to make the turtle grow bigger and bigger so he could fly to Dragon Island.
Yeah, and he was so focused on curiosity and rushing through life for that.
Yeah, that's why he chased the two dudes armed with Tommy guns, because they had his turtle.
Yeah, and then his whole temptation of when, Orihime gives him that mysterious box.
Oh, yeah, and he opens it and he becomes a grandpa.
And she tells him never. It was supposed to be like a metaphor of...
Oh, because he's tempted to open
Don't be in a rush and,
live your life.
Live your life.
And that's why the episode ends with everyone in his class having a turtle and not him.
Yeah,
because he understands. Well, he's not an old man anymore when he closed the box.
Oh, true, yeah.
Sorry about the tangent. That was an episode of the show that really stuck with both of us. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, that was a powerful episode. It was definitely one of those interesting ones.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I mean, you said it yourself in a Facebook post. You thought Ultra Q was way better than Twilight Zone by
It is way better, and it did it in only, what was it, 52 episodes?
27, I think.
28.
Yep, 28. Because the first Ultraman series is 39 episodes, and then...
12 is for Neo Ultra Q, which came out in 2013, which is supposed to be the follow-up. And we'll probably do a talk thing on the Ultra series eventually, but...
Let us know. But, we can probably take it disc by disc or something. But, they get there, they're in these hazmat suits, and they're walking around this jungle. The foliage is it really did remind me of Skull Island. You know? Because it's all these extinct plants and...
Because I'm pretty sure that's where they got the inspiration. I don't think they directly ripped it off. Because we got to remember, too, that the original King Kong came out in 1933.
Before. Yeah.
1933 is when the original
way before.
So that's...
almost 30 years.
Yeah, almost 3 decades.
Yeah.
I'd say probably that's about, 27, 28 years?
Yeah. Yeah.
Roughly.
Something like that. But, whatever math is. But yeah, they're on this island, and they're looking around. One guy, he gets strangled by these poisonous vines, but he gets saved by these little girls who are... He describes them as a foot tall, but we've agreed probably a lot shorter.
Yeah.
Oh, and the guy who got strangled, he's a guy that they brought along who's a linguist, because they're trying to see if he can maybe help translate. And, okay, here's something, because when the little girls, when they meet them, at the next part, when they find them, and he starts, talking to them, and they're talking, but they're just kind of it really does sound just like a heart monitor machine flatlining. He's like, I think they're saying we shouldn't disturb the island. And I'm like, how smart are you that you just know that? I'm sure there's probably a technical reason, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. Which, I kind of found that interesting, though.
Yeah, I mean, I did too, but it seemed, I don't know, it just seemed too easy for me, I guess. To just be like, okay. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, and it kind of got weird when they were able to do it without
Well, later on, they start speaking Japanese, to which it's you knew how to speak the whole time?
Yeah, that was the part that I was having trouble with. Wait a minute, why?
Yeah, exactly. But they started running away. They start walking away, and then the American guy grabs both of them, and you and I both audibly, as though us talking could stop the TV. We were both like, no! Jesus!
Yeah,
you bastard!
Put him down.
You dick. I mean, it looks like you're just holding action figures, but still.
Which, honestly, there is something to be said about the Toho and kaiju movies as a whole, that it really does speak to the American jab at both. Specifically, I think, America and China. China was to themselves, part of Asia, screw you, keep away from us. And America was we are going to just kind of kill all of you, we don't care, even though we know that you're trying to fight for honor, we're still going to murder all of you anyway.
I talked with a friend who, he's Native American, and he was talking with me about that kind of stuff, and it's just we were talking about the plains bison, and them all getting killed, you know?
Yeah.
Because they this animal got murdered almost to extinction for A, their pelts, and B, because the Native American, he said this is also a reason. The Native Americans were staying there and that was their food source. So they killed all of them so they would have to leave. And it's like the more I read about history, the more it gets cemented in my mind that like America's definitely not the greatest country in the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that is something that I really did want to emphasize on, because a lot of people who have reviewed Shin Godzilla have been specifically talking about the political overtones of it.
Yeah.
But I believe it's always it's always been there.
Yeah.
There's never been anything. That's like where the inspiration came from.
Read between the lines. You gotta like see the deeper meaning in things.
And Mothra is definitely one of them, because the Americans,
he immediately wants to capitalize. He's like, oh, I'll take him and then we'll do a show, and it's literally what happens in King Kong. When they're like, let's take King Kong from Skull Island and put him on Broadway.
And that is like the thing though, because that is something that, you know, again, wake up. We're not talking about politics on this show. We're literally saying what every movie is saying. And if you look at any other culture, and I think that's what drives people nuts about these kinds of movies.
Yeah.
And why America can't grow up and stand it, because it's basically looking at what America's done.
Yeah.
America's the flower country. And I like that, like, even in the new ones, America's becoming very self-aware. The writers that are writing it now are becoming very self-aware.
King of Godzilla, or King of Monsters and Godzilla, they're like immediately like, Godzilla's fighting Ghidorah underwater, and they're like, send the oxygen depletion bomb. It'll kill both of them. And it's like, why are you killing Godzilla? He's helping you.
And it's because they don't care.
Yeah, they want to destroy the immediate threat, and I understand that to an extent. But it's like, where do your values get cut off? You know what I mean?
Yeah, which, not trying to go on a tangent to.
No. We never do that. What are you talking about?
Well, I was watching Day of the Doctor, and I'm kind of glad I watched it before I watched this, because in Day of the Doctor, that was one of the moral things. So spoiler for that, but that was one of the things with the War Doctor, you know, where they tried to convince him, like, but I see that you're trying to kill the immediate threat, but look how many people and innocents you're going to kill.
Exactly. Like, the ends don't justify the means. Yeah.
Which is one of the best parts of Star Trek, which is what Spock always says. Yeah. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
Or the one.
Yeah, so...
Which, I mean, I guess... Like, I don't know.
And that gets really implied here, that the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few and the one. Because for the Americans in this movie, for them, it's just about capitalism.
At least for this one American, yeah.
Yeah, whereas... And the Japanese people that he's paying.
Yeah, that's true.
But for the rest of them, it's about finding a culture and preserving
it
with all these
science.
Yeah, with all this radiation, they just want to figure out what's on there and be like,
how are they surviving? Is there like maybe cures we can use to help people?
If any of you want our help, and then they're like, okay, cool, nice meeting you. I'm glad you guys are okay. We're gonna go back and we're gonna make sure we don't bother you. And then immediately, and that's
immediately because they leave. Because while he's picking up the girls and everyone's like, let him go, put him down, the natives show up and they are terrifying.
Yeah, the way that their eyes, the eye shadow that they put on them and the way they lit their eyes is absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, it reminds me of Mothra, because you pointed out when we see him in his like larval form, his eyes just have this glow. And you said it terrifies you. And I feel like the natives kind of emulate that.
Yeah, they did. And, you know, the reason I find Mothra scary is because it's a force to be reckoned with. While I find Mothra cute, I also find it terrifying.
Yeah. Well, I find Mothra terrifying because, like, all these other monsters, they're just, like, kill for the sake of killing. Mothra's like, I'll kill if I have a reason. And if I have a reason, watch out. You know what I mean?
And that's the thing. Like, she's the force of nature. Nature is sweet. Nature is cute.
It wants balance.
Nice. Until you decide that you're going to play God or nature. And in which, in favor, then nature and the universe will go, well, how about now?
Yeah, exactly. Nature has a way of balancing itself out.
Which...
Keeping us in check.
Which, I mean, that's what I think happens, with the many events that occur, and they're horrific. And and I'm going to be very careful with what I say here.
Okay.
But in a sense, all of these movies have a common theme with Toho.
Yeah.
It's like a plague.
Mm-hmm.
We're in a pandemic.
Yep. Still are.
Now, if you kind of look through history, there's always been pandemics.
Yep.
That's kind of been
bubonic plague and Spanish flu.
No way am I downplaying coronavirus before y'all get angry.
God, no.
That's
God,
not
no.
what I'm trying to say.
This is horrible, and it's changed our lives in so many ways.
Yes.
I've lost 2 people to it. Like, we're not downplaying it in any means.
No, but what the Toho has the common theme of is that's the whole point behind Godzilla and Mothra. They're all forms of nature, and they're also created by man inadvertently.
Yeah.
And in some cases, nature just kind of created them by themselves, which is the path that they kind of chose more with Godzilla. But that's a little confusing because the radiation in the 2014 version is what created Godzilla.
Right.
But then again, it could have been like an evolution thing.
Right, because Shin Godzilla is a different timeline and universe, correct?
Yes, Shin Godzilla
has
is
no
its
connections.
own universe. It's not with Toho.
And there's also...
It's under the Toho brand, yes, but not.
And there's also, there's also split-off points, because the Heisei one starts with the original Godzilla and goes all the way for 15 movies. And then when Godzilla came back in the 80s, that was treated as a direct sequel to the original, so the other ones didn't have it. Think the new Halloween.
That's what they pretty much did.
They did that in the 80s.
It's pretty much like the Terminators, where the canon of the original timeline is 1, 2, 3, and 4. The canonicity of the Genesis timeline is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, I believe.
Yeah. And
which
then the
Genesis,
new one,
which is 1 and 2, then Dark Fate.
Yeah, Dark Fate is 1, 2,
and
Dark Fate.
The
Sarah Connor Chronicles.
Sarah Connor Chronicles, I think, is 1, 2, and then that series, and then possibly 3.
Well, because that's the thing, because Sarah Connor Chronicles ended on a cliffhanger of, John Connor went back in time to save the Terminator from his era, because she got implanted with a virus, so he had to destroy her chip, go back in time and save her. But when he went back in time, he changed the timeline, so now he doesn't exist. Kyle Reese is the leader of the Resistance, but that's how the series ended because it got canceled.
So that's dumb, and I never made it that far.
Oh, it's a great show.
No, and I still want to watch it for that. I knew it was one of those things, so it's not really spoiling it for me because I knew it was very wacky and it got canceled.
Yeah. And, it got canceled for the same reason, all those great Fox shows got canceled. You put them on the Friday slot, people. No one's going to watch them.
Well, even it's like Netflix with...
Firefly. Well, for Fox, it was Firefly, Sarah Connor Chronicles, Dollhouse. All these great shows that just...
And you don't just cancel them from numbers.
Exactly.
DVD sales are what's more important.
Yeah. Or frickin' Young Justice. The action figures we're selling more to girls than boys, so...
That's your marketing for you.
Oh my god. But Mothra.
that is the real thing, though, with these Toho movies. With Godzilla, it is about man versus the nature, the horrific effects of nature that's created to balance out. And then with Rodan,
it was an allegory for Russia, which I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rodan is kind of like...
I mean, from an elemental standpoint, where did you put that?
Elemental, what do you mean?
Well, if you take the elements of nature.
Oh! For all of these creatures?
For Rodan. Well, just these 3 specifically, because these are the 3.
Okay, well, let's do it for the main 4 that I can think of. So, Godzilla's water.
Godzilla's water. And I would say the metaphor behind that, in terms of nature, is man versus what they've created.
Yeah, but then... Yeah.
With nature.
Rodan's fire. 1,000% fire.
So Rodan is more about...
Or earth. Rodan's earth, maybe. Because he comes from the ground.
Yeah, so it's more about what has already existed.
Yeah, because they're coal mining, and then they stumble upon these creatures.
It's disrupting what nature
natural
has,
order of things.
natural order, and what nature has put away.
Right, and then Mothra
is the force of nature, disturbing the natural order, and then
Ghidorah,
provoking it.
Ghidorah is the unknown, and the naivety of like thinking we can handle whatever is possibly out there.
Yeah, and that's the thing about like these different eras. With each Godzilla movie, it is like a plague, which I believe they say in one of them. These monsters, each and every movie, no matter which era you watch them in, they all will explicitly state one thing. The monsters are a plague that will always wreak havoc on Tokyo, and that is just a natural order and a way of balancing out.
Exactly. And again, this is just our interpretation of the ideas. Maybe we got it completely wrong from what the original creator meant, but, that's the beauty of art. It's multiple interpretations.
I know for sure Shin Godzilla, because who's the fanboy who was a part of it? Who's also loves Ultraman? I'm trying to think of his name.
I don't know.
And he wanted to do... Mothra too in the Shin universe and do like a Shin Mothra.
That'd be cool. If they're doing a Shin Ultraman.
Yeah, which I'm sure one day those will cross over.
I don't know. I got the feeling from what I saw of Shin Godzilla, I get the feeling that this guy is a very one-off person.
No.
Non-connected.
Well, that is because Shin Godzilla is more of an experiment. It was supposed to be just a single hand because America was doing their thing and they wanted to breathe new life.
Yeah.
And that is technically what Godzilla was supposed to be. It was supposed to be the god incarnate, because Shin can mean a lot of things in the Japanese culture.
Yep. Henshin means transform.
Was it Shinji Higuchi?
Sure.
Or
I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure.
It was one of them,
but so to get back to Mothra.
Yeah. After we pretty much see the natives come in,
they leave, but then the Americans come back later at night, find the girls, grab them, and then they shoot a buttload of the natives.
Yeah, which they just massacred. Which the natives didn't even do anything.
They were just walking towards them menacingly.
Well, kind of clapping these rocks together and doing kind of a
chant.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then they go back to the natives after the American leaves with the girls. They go to a temple and begin chanting to summon Mothra, and it's revealed that there's a giant egg in this temple.
Yeah, which I think Mothra only really comes out when she's needed.
Yes, or in this case, heat.
Yeah.
In this one case, heat.
He up until later when it's a she, she's only needed when the world needs her most.
Exactly.
And she's summoned. So she's basically a god herself, like King Kong.
Yeah.
Because I think she would be the god of nature.
Right. But like we said, the American brings the twins back, or as he calls him, his fairy beauties, little beauties, tiny fairies.
Tiny beauties.
Yeah, it's very
creepy.
Yeah. But he has them do a floor show where they come in on a carriage and start singing, and they're singing the Mothra song, and he's like, I don't know what they're singing, they just sing. And it's like,
maybe you should figure that out.
Exactly, because they're actually their voices are summoning Mothra, and he hatches, and he's this worm monster that starts swimming towards the mainland.
Which always terrified me. So if you guys have ever seen the second Godzilla versus Mothra, that one was always scary to see her.
Her opposite?
No, just her in the beginning.
Oh, well.
Swimming through the water trying to chase after, and Godzilla chasing her.
Well, and then you also get, in that same one, you get the
anti-Mothra, basically.
Which you said looks more terrifying.
Yeah, that was not okay. That is one thing that, legitimately, in some of these Godzilla movies, you could really find. 80s especially. 80s and 90s.
Oh, look up Megaguirus. That's Space Mothra, essentially. She is terrifying.
And I really...
Godzilla vs. Megaguirus. A great movie. We'll cover it at some point. Because I would like to... depending... Maybe do, 2 months worth of kaiju movies a year. Maybe.
I would. Or we can just do them as a side series, too.
Yeah. We're figuring it
out. Oh,
out.
yeah, I do have that movie.
Yeah, you do.
Yep. Yeah, see, the designs look so much more
terrifying.
Just terrifying. It's just something about the 80s.
Yeah, and Destroya and Biollanta, which was designed by a kid in a contest, which you didn't know.
Yeah, Biollanta is definitely terrifying within itself.
It's Godzilla and a rose. Like, of course.
It's something that Poison Ivy would have a lot of fun with. Both
Don't. Let's not go there. So Mothra,
It reminded me of Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
Which is sitting up in that giant thing in the greenhouse and just starts attacking Batman and then the other plant that she uses in Arkham City against Catwoman.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Or Arkham Knight, I think, would be the biggest one.
Yeah.
She brings that.
So
The original
Zen and the linguist and the reporter girl, they get to visit the American guy allows them to visit the twins, and they're
for 3 minutes.
Yeah, and they're talking, and because they can actually speak Japanese now. They pick up languages fast, these little girls.
And where exactly did the little kid, who is he again?
He is the younger brother who lives with the linguist.
Okay.
Fat kid in the red hat.
Yeah,
That's not me being offensive. They literally call him that. Someone refers to him as the fat kid with the red hat.
Because I was going to say, he's very adamant about trying, like the rest of the team.
He wants to rescue him, yeah.
Yeah.
But they're like, they have guns out there. We can't save them. And they're like, don't worry, Mothra's coming. And they're like, what the frick is a Mothra? Like, you can tell they're very worried because they're like, if that, whatever is coming, like...
Well, because I think they knew, because didn't they say, too, when they were on the island that they were guarding something?
Yeah, well, and the twins say, like, you should get out of here. You should leave. Because you guys actually seem nice. And you seem like you genuinely want to help. But... he's gonna kill everything when he gets here, just so he can get us.
That's the thing, like, I like about Mothra. Mothra is very, like, I will help Earth.
Yeah.
But I also have my own people. And my own people will come first, because...
the goddesses.
That is
those
my
little
mini.
ones. Yeah.
Those are my children.
Mm-hmm.
So, I really like that. And it's, like, you don't really see a lot of Mothra in this movie. Kind of like the original Gojira.
Very fleeting. Very fleeting.
Which is... nice.
Yeah. Same with Rodan as well.
Yeah, Rodan. Excuse me.
Wow, you're just
Rodan
so bored.
really wasn't seen. I really like that they kind of did it like classic monster movies with these. It really built up attention, and while they may have not been as scary,
yeah,
and I don't think they would have been as scary even back then,
right?
Because the strangeness had already been kind of one of those things. They weren't as human, but it was the idea.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure it probably would have been more terrifying in Japan because that was their culture. Whereas, you know, they probably would look at our American monsters and be like...
yeah, what, like... I mean, we had some good ones. We had Dracula, Frankenstein.
Yeah, I don't think that would have scared them as much. And,
No.
I mean, if it's any consolation...
Ours aren't giant.
Well, also, look at Japan when they hit the 80s and the 90s with Ju-on.
Yeah.
And their version of the ring.
And I mean, we had you know, Freddy and Jason.
Yeah, which were terrifying. And they were like, you guys are funny.
Hold our beer.
Let's one-up this.
Yeah.
We already did it once with the Twilight Zone and everything else.
Oh, God. And then in the 90s, they brought us The Audition. Ugh.
I've never seen that movie, and I've heard that it is...
Don't make me do it.
I'm not going to make you do it, because from what I heard from a guy who was reviewing some of these and talking about Japanese culture, he was like, so if you really want a really effed up movie that is going to make you regret life like Martyrs, then feel free to watch this movie. For all those who don't want to have nightmares and every time you close your eyes, do yourself a favor and never watch this.
Yeah.
And I was like, righto.
Exactly. So... We see Mothra's larval form swimming through the ocean, and we get the shot of the guy who sees him from a boat and is just like, ah.
His face is great. So
he drops a cup. He's like, ah, and then the one guy's like, oh.
So I'm pretty sure you guys right by now have already figured out our inside joke of
Barbarian. This is my barbarian. It's mine finally.
Yeah, this is definitely the one that's. Like, oh.
Yeah.
because it's just his face is great. Don't you just love like those classic movies? There's something about
Yeah.
the way they gave facial expressions that were just absolutely hilarious in the best way.
It's so good. It's so good. And you would be that terrified if that giant thing was like coming near your boat.
Oh, I would.
He headbutts that liner and just wrecks it.
See, I mean, the thing that I don't like is because I have like the submachine phobia.
Yeah.
The other thing I don't like is I don't like seeing random bubbles in the water.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I went swimming out in the ocean and I just saw like over here, not that far away from me, just like I just saw a bunch of bubbles and I'm like, nope, I'm done. Bye. I don't want to figure out what's in there.
Like it's bubbles and just like the creature from the Black Lagoon just stands up and you're like, ah.
I mean, I'd almost rather see that
than like Jaws.
than Jaws, but also like the SCPs. I'd rather see that or than see Mothra.
Yeah.
I'd almost rather see Godzilla, because at least I have a 50-50 chance, depending what kind of mood he's in.
Yeah, if he just looks at you and is like, it just swims by.
And then I'm going to be like, oh, thank
I've been wondering.
God.
It's a question I've wanted to ask you, because you've kind of indulged yourself with it a lot. And, like, you've really dove into it. Is there one of the Ultramen from the Ultraman series who you think personally could at least hold his own for a hot minute against Godzilla?
Against Godzilla?
Yeah.
I'd have to say it's either, from what I've seen so far, from the little bits of the series that I've watched, I'd say it'd have to be the dude who's learning to master his powers in Ultraman X.
Yeah, because he gets like a sword, doesn't he?
He ends up being able to mix.
Oh, that's right. He gets to combine the Ultramans.
Yeah, so it'd either be him or it would be the Ultraman from the original.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I would pay to see a fight between original Ultraman and original Godzilla.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I would love to see Mothra and Godzilla cross over with an Ultraman because of the fact that I think Toho would allow it.
We do get that at a point. Because we get, when, I think it's Godzilla versus Megallion. Because Megallion is an alien monster, and this is right after Godzilla versus Gigan, who Gigan is one of my favorites. He almost killed Godzilla. Like, first guy to make Godzilla bleed.
So he became Thanos?
Exactly. So he, like, Gigan came back with Megallion, so they were going to double team him and definitely beat Godzilla, but, I think, what is his name? It's like Turbo something. A Jet Jaguar. That's who showed up to help Godzilla.
Yeah, it's when we get that cringy flying kick that Godzilla does.
Yeah!
Dun, 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 and then he smashed into him and he does that little dance.
Yeah, in Jet Jaguar, there's also a cringy moment in that movie where they shake hands, and I'm like, why is Godzilla shaking the hands of a robot?
I wasn't, because that was the 70s, jeez.
Yeah, man.
That was still pretty cringy. But why are they on top of the Twin Towers?
Somebody edited them to be on the top of the Twin Towers?
No, that was an official poster.
That's fucked. Let me see. I mean, the Twin Towers would have still been up, for obviously.
Yeah, but that was original art. I remember seeing that.
That's for the American dub version. We're not...
Okay, that's what I thought. Because I was going to say, is that another one
well,
of
and also
America's...
the Twin Towers were nowhere near...
No.
Never forget.
9/11.
Never forget.
But that was why I was confused, because I was like, I don't think Japan would have done that. Cause
no.
There's only one movie, I think, with Mothra. Because, I mean, like, later in the plot of Mothra, and I think it's... Because if you guys have ever played, like, Destroy All Humans...
They don't have the rights to New York.
Yeah, same thing with the Mafia series. Like, Lost Haven, Illinois is supposed to be, like, almost a version of Chicago.
Yep.
Mafia, in Mafia 2, Empire Bay is supposed to be essentially be New York.
Yeah.
And New Bordeaux is essentially supposed to be...
New Orleans.
New Orleans, yeah. So, in Mothra, we end up getting later in the movie this... And we both got confused for a second.
I was like, this looks like New York because of the cities, but what the fuck are palm trees doing here? And why is there a Golden Gate Bridge and the Empire State Building?
And not to mention the fact that before that, the dialogue said, it's going to Newkirk.
Yeah, New Kirk. And we were like, did they just not get New York right on the dubbing?
Because the dubbing for the American was pretty bad. Like, worse than Japanese dubbing.
Oh, yeah. God, yeah.
He finished his whole sentence, and he was still talking for like about 3 seconds after. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you had one job.
It reminded me of Kung Pao. You not seen Kung Pao?
I don't think so.
Hold on. I gotta see if it's available on any streaming services, because if you have not seen it and there's access to it, we are watching it for my birthday. Because, oh my god, that movie. I watched it too much as a kid.
It's only for rent. For $3.99.
It's one of my favorites. You kidding me? I'm not sure if it aged well at all, but it's like one of my favorite movies. 2002. You know, that kind of comedy.
The director apparently worked on Back at the Barnyard, Planet Sheen, Adventures in Jimmy Neutron, and Comedy Club.
Yeah.
He worked on Ace Ventura. Okay.
Yeah. You find a copy, my friend.
Oh, that shouldn't be too hard for me.
We gotta watch it. We have to. So, back to Mothra. So, Mothra starts swimming. He gets to the mainland, and there's just, like, planes bombing him, and, like, tanks shooting at him, and, like, missiles from, like, those things that look like semis that just have missile fire things on them.
Which, I don't even know what the definitive name is for that.
Me neither. I just always see them. And, like, again, I need to praise them for doing this because it's ingenious. They don't use actual tanks. They use little miniatures and, like...
Which are essentially just toy tanks.
Mm-hmm. And they have them shooting, and then they pretty seamlessly make it look like there's people in front of them, so they look like real tanks. At least for the time, seamlessly. And they have, like, toy planes, and then, like, toy buildings that, like, the puppet monster goes through and destroys. And it's like... Can you imagine? Like, that was someone's job. Like, someone asked, what do you do for a living? And their response is, well, today I'm making a city, and tomorrow one of my buddies is going to operate a worm puppet that's going to destroy it.
I mean, it seems like a fun-ass job.
Right? Like, can you imagine meticulously painting a building just to have your friend Jeff show up with a puppet and just wreck the shit out of it?
How many times have you really been to a museum with those miniatures and been like, I want to freaking play with those?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, God.
And then every time they do, they're like, no touching! And it's like, okay.
And it's like, it's not even like half the price of what it would be to like CGI destroy buildings and use tanks and stuff. It's like a 100th of the price.
Right.
Like, it's so good. Like, I swear these movies must have been under budget. Like, half the time, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't say enough how well, because I'm pretty sure these all had a small budget to work with.
Yeah.
And that is one thing that's notable from all Asian culture, I think, for
a lot of it.
For movies, is that even with their action movies, they find a way to keep them pretty low.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, because, like, I mean, like, the budget for Shin Godzilla was only, like, $15 million.
What? That's, like, nothing for our America. Like, Fast and the Furious is, like, almost, like, 500 million.
Yeah, and that's saying a lot, because Shin Godzilla, they went with the idea, and their CGI looks pretty damn good, even in standard definition.
Like, I gotta look up now, how much was the budget for Fast and the Furious 7? Because that movie, wow.
I think that's cheaper than you would have thought, though.
Maybe, I don't know.
Because the Fast and the Furious had a budget of $207.3 million.
Fast and the Furious 8 was $250 million for one movie.
In perspective, I think it's made over $5 billion though.
Box office was $1.2 billion, but probably more with like DVD and Blu-ray sales and.
Well, yeah, and it's got Vin Diesel, and we'll definitely cover the Rock feud and the Vin Diesel, because it's actually quite interesting how they got into that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you just watched by yourself the Riddick series, which I had seen when I was a much younger lad. What did you think of it?
I loved it.
Yeah? All of them? All three of them?
I loved all three of them.
And the animated thing?
Haven't seen that yet.
You
I'm
have
still
to.
waiting for
It's
that.
between 1 and 2. Like, it directly shows you what you would miss.
I will.
It's only a half hour. Just watch it after tonight. But, so, he's, like, getting to destroy, and then he, like, takes down, you know the thing in the capital of Japan that kind of looks like the Eiffel Tower?
Yeah, which is what what's it? The monster attacked in Ultra Q.
Mm-hmm. That's what Pengila attacked when he returned.
Yeah, I was gonna say he returned, and Pengila is.
Some of those Ultra Q monsters got 2 episodes, and
I don't like Pengila.
you didn't like Pengila.
Still the weirdest, most freaky.
He looked like He looked like Rodan with a walrus face.
Yeah, him and Shin Godzilla are my least favorite to look at.
I mean, Shin Godzilla's design, I don't think it's supposed to be appealing. You know?
Oh no! Seeing it right before it shoots fire is just terrifying.
Well, because he, like, splits his jaw, too. Like, straight up mandible, like, Kamen Rider Shin style. That's a deep cut.
Yeah, it's horrifying.
But you felt the same vibe for Pengila?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. So you weren't nigh too happy when he got a sequel episode.
No, I like him as a character. He just terrifies me.
Oh, okay. So that's probably it's effective then.
Yeah, like that. Like when the girls were screaming, it's kind of like when they saw Mothra, because like I said, like when Mothra is in her or his or her, depending on the movie, when it's in its larva
form
stage,
as opposed to its moth form.
It just I would scream at that too. But yeah, seeing that one from Ultra Q.
You know what? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't blame you for screaming.
Did you finish the original Ultra Q series?
No.
Okay. Did you get to the 2020 episode?
No, not yet, I don't think.
There's an episode called Invaders from 2020.
I would say a joke, but I'm not going to offend anybody here.
I was like, I watched discs 1 and 2, and then I saw disc 3, and I saw that title, and I was like, oh, skip to that one, because this is going to be gold. And I was like, this monster is terrifying. And it's not even, that's the thing about this one monster from Ultra Q, it's not even a giant one. It's like a human-sized one. And I was more scared of it than any of the giant monsters.
Jeez.
You gotta watch that one. So, Mothra tears down the Eiffel Tower building and makes himself a cocoon, which you said kind of looks like a nutsack. I thought looked like a gourd, but, you know, to each their own.
It looked like either a peanut or one of those animated ball sacks.
Or, like I said, a gourd, you know? Like for a nice Thanksgiving yam.
Sure.
You could see that. You could see that. Especially the color. But they're like, oh, it's prawns. So they like, shut up. So they bring in these laser cannons and they set it on fire. And they're like, yay, we killed it. And it's like, no, no. Because the twins start singing again. Oh, and this is after they were already planning on getting the twins out. And the fat kid actually tried an escape attempt with them. Didn't pan.
Yeah, he ended up getting caught.
They freaking
gagged
him.
him
And I was like, what the hell is your problem?
This is assault on a child?
Seriously. But so then the main villain fled to Newkirk with the girls, and they were singing at his house. He's like, it doesn't matter if you sing right now. He's dead. Ha ha ha. And then he hatches, and he's just flying.
Which they show on the news.
And he's beautiful. And the one guy's like, I think he literally says to his boss, we're screwed.
Yeah, and let's also mention that Newkirk is in the fictional country
of...
let's see here, because I saw that and I was like...
Well, because you think America, because they're all speaking English, and then, like, they're all very white. Even though, I will say, I could see it not being America, because the few Americans or the few white people in that one who do speak Japanese speak it very well.
Rolisica.
Okay.
Somewhere between Eastern Asia and Europe.
So America. America. That's literally its location. What is in between Europe and Eastern Asia?
Unless they tacked it on somehow, but like I said,
because Mothra flew over an ocean to get there, so that's where it has to be. If they're in Tokyo and it's in between them and Europe, that way.
which is why I always question the canonicity, because if you really think about it too, eventually in the later ones, they do say they go to America, so it's like...
Yeah. Oh god. 92 Godzilla. A dinosaur! A dinosaur's attacking our boys! A dinosaur? Oh my god. Did they just find strangers on the street and be like, wanna be in a movie? Like, no. Get actual actors, please.
But you can't imagine how much money they'd be they're saving doing that.
That's fair, but it's like, yeah, it's like the 1920s thing where it's like, sing in a tin can and we'll pay you $20 for your song.
Pretty much.
I watched a lot of Oh Brother Where Art Thou when I was a kid. It's Coen Brothers. So, Mothra flies there and Clark's panicking. He's like, come on, we're going. And he like even points a gun at his own guy. And then they get mobbed by a car and he like pulls a gun because he's having a flashback to when the villagers were around him in the jungle. So he starts pointing a gun at people and he shoots a cop and then he gets shot and dies. Which I was like, dang it, I wanted him to like... I wanted a worse death, you know? For this piece of shit character who started all this that killed... Like, so many people have died so far. I wanted him to be in a building and that building be blown up and collapsed. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted...
Like the 2000 Godzilla, where he just yells at Godzilla before he destroys the entire building.
Exactly. I wanted worse, you know?
Which that scene is hilarious, too.
Okay.
But...
Godzilla 2000? Which came out in...
1999.
Yeah.
But I love it. He's just standing on New Year's. He's staring up at Godzilla. Godzilla! Yeah. With the dub version. The dub version is great because he just yells, Godzilla! And then they give it a whole echo effect. And it's like...
Ugh.
Oh my god.
Watch for laughs, for sure. But so he dies, and then the main characters get there, and they see that there's like a cross, and they're like, oh, the symbol, we can maybe like... And the bells are making the same sound that the girls sang. So they get the idea to like make a cross on a landing strip so that Mothra will stop destroying the city and just land there and pick up the girls. Which works, but like not until after Mothra flies around and we're talking like hurricane winds with each flap. And it's like people are like cars are flying everywhere. Buildings are collapsing. The Golden Gate Bridge is freaking gone. Sorry, discount Golden Gate Bridge is freaking gone. It's more great destruction scenes.
The Golden Gateway.
Yeah,
that's what we'll call
it. Boo! Boo! So,
hey, it's not copyrighted.
Boo. So, boo. So, I'm just a ghost now. So, they get the twins, and they're like, thank you. And they're like, don't worry, we won't bother you guys anymore. And they're like, great, bye. And then they climb on him. He flies back to the island. And then they, like, sing a little song about him, and there you go. It's the movie.
Sexy, sexy.
Don't. I know you love little girl.
No, I was just... Sexy can mean a lot of things, and this movie was...
Pretty great.
It lives up.
Yeah, it holds up. Especially. And the remaster that, what's the company that did it? Because I want to shout them out.
Mills Creek. And
Mills
they
Creek
also
did
the
great.
ones who remastered...
the OG Ultramans.
Ultramans and the ones that are doing the modern and transferring them to the American main market for retails.
Yeah, thanks, Mill Creek.
So
thank you.
And also it's nice because they heavily discount them on retail. So instead of getting them for like $50, like for me, my Ultraman collection, I got like Ultraman for $22 on a steelbook. Right now it's like $17.26 for a steelbook on Amazon.
I got the steelbook of Ultra Q for like $16. Yeah,
I got it for $17. Yeah, and then the rest of my stuff I actually got for no more than $30, except for Taro, which I paid like I want to say like $30 something. $36.
Toro, I thought it was, because he looks like a bull.
Toro, yeah.
But yeah, that's Mothra. I very much enjoyed it.
I'm definitely willing to buy the steelbook to put next to Rebirth of Mothra. It's a very good.
Stop giving me that glare. I know I didn't buy it for you. Get over it. God.
That one wasn't glare that time.
This is in workplace abuse happening. No, I'm just kidding. That happened an hour ago when you farted and I wanted to die.
Sulfur Foods.
Hold on. Yep, still in the air. Great. Lovely. So, thanks for listening.
It's not my fault I have irritable bowel syndromes. Yes, we all have that.
We all do? You really want to go with that statistic?
Yes. So I don't have to feel alone.
I'm looking at the camera disdainingly like Malcolm in Malcolm in the Middle. So, Mothra, great.
Mothra, great. Definitely a complete thumbs up. Definitely worth it.
100%.
Holds up so well. Even
Yeah,
for
if you're listen, if older kaiju movies aren't your thing, I won't hold it against you. It's not for everybody. But if it is, you're really cool, and I really like you.
And I would say, really, as somebody, just give it a chance.
Yeah,
I prefer that you don't do the dub. It's one of those things that you need to get accustomed to. But if he could get a stickler like me, who just had absolutely zero interest for those, then I think America can take a turn.
I've known you for a year, and I turned you from only watch a dub, I don't want to read subtitles, to dub is blasphemy, I will kill all.
It really is, and most of it is not interpreted right anyway.
No, it's not.
Just imagine going to a play, like Singing in the Rain, and having somebody else voice all the lines for the dialogue than the actual actors.
You've never seen Singing in the Rain, right?
I have.
You have? Okay.
Well, no, I've never seen it, but I know the final act. Yes.
So were you purposefully referencing the main plot point of that movie?
Well, nobody would have known that until you said it.
Well, were you though?
Yes.
Okay. It's established 20 minutes in. It's not like any... The movie's from the 60s. Thank you for listening to Film Nerds Hour.
He's been Nathaniel Shoemaker.
He's been Noah Sweeto. Why am I looking at the heavens?
And this is Film Nerds Hour. So long, everyone.
Bye-bye.